You got her. Jordyn Listro Tampa Bay Sun joins us on the program. You got it figured out. We're all good.
We're all good.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are things? How's your week going?
Good. Just prepping for our game on Saturday. We're all super excited about it.
I mean, how crazy is it like when you guys saw the initial schedule, knowing like, wow, we're gonna have this big break in between and like a first part and the second part? Like, how did you mentally kind of wrap your head about that, knowing that there was gonna be a break in the middle?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice, honestly. We are taking it in two different sections, and the first half of the season was kind of up and down for us, but we got to regroup and everyone kind of went their separate ways over the Christmas break, got to spend time with family and friends, which was much needed. And then we come back kind of energized and refreshed and ready to kick off the next couple months.
What was that first game like? I mean, it's something that I'll never forget, like being there with my girlfriend and her two daughters and just feeling like it was a part of history in the Tampa Bay area, knowing that this was the first females, team here in the Bay Area and just be there. Of course, we want to win, right? But it doesn't, like, at the end of the day, it's not about like historical perspective of the win. It's about just you guys really broke ground. Like, you broke barriers that day. When you look back on that initial game right there, like, what are going to be some of your favorite memories?
Yeah, honestly, it was a dream come true. I mean, going to school at USF and then being able to play professionally in Tampa, I'm just so passionate about this city. And so to see all the little girls and boys come to our game and now, they can look at us and have a dream that they can achieve later on. I mean, yeah, we made history. The game itself was pretty hectic, but
Mm-hmm.
that's okay. It was
Yeah.
still a good memory.
That's right. What about Coach Denise Schilte Brown, who I love? Like, she's a firecracker, man. Every time I'm around her, she's always like slapping me or making jokes. Like, she don't stop. Was there a different side of her for now? Like, was it the same coach the entire time? Like, has she changed at all, going from the college to the pro ranks?
I haven't been with her in a couple years, but I
Mm,
mean, she's still the same person. She's still super competitive and, she motivates us all. I think she's unique in that aspect. If she really believes in you as a person and player and instills confidence in you to allow you to perform at your best. So she's the same in that regard.
Jordyn, during the break, did you train? Were you allowed to train with the team? Did you guys stay together? Did you do individual training? Like, how did that whole thing go?
Yeah, you kind of got to do whatever you wanted to do. We had a program that was sent to us. Me and a few of my teammates actually went down to Fort Lauderdale and trained at the training center called The Ground with two former MLS players, Recher and Jeff Cameron. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, they have a great thing going over there and definitely pushed us for the 2 to 3 weeks we were there.
Yeah, I always like the name Breck, Brek. I was like, that's a pretty cool name. I'm a big fan. And Jeff Cameron, not your traditional Jeffgeoff. I'm weird like that. Spellings for me, that's just my thing. Um, when you're looking at the standings of what the first half was like, right? And I look back at it today and I go, yeah, okay, you're just under the line of making the playoffs, but you have a game in hand that got rescheduled. You win that game, like, you're right there. You're in second place. So how is the feeling of the team knowing, like, all right, maybe it was a little bit of an up and down first part of the season, but you know that you're within striking distance to really be at the top and put yourself in a position to make the postseason?
Yeah, I think we have to take it game by game. I think we can't get ahead of ourselves. I think the first half of the season, we knew we had a good roster and we were projected to finish like first or second. So I think we just need to stay focused on each game and not look at the big picture right away.
What uh there's been a lot of player movement that I've noticed. Like, it was pretty surprising to me because I wasn't sure, and I wonder if that's going to happen like years down the line now. But there's been players that like go back on loan, you bring people in. Like, was that something that you guys were anticipating, that there was going to be a lot of player movement during the season?
Not really. I mean, we did get a couple players on loan, and then now we have new players that have signed, and the other players have gone back to their clubs. But I mean, the players that we had on loan were awesome and great additions, and then these new signings that we have are also great. So I think we lucked out with both.
I remember when you joined us in studio back when I was working at iHeart, you and Erica Timrack. I mean, you and I told you, you guys were the faces of this whole thing, right? Like the first time that you guys did any kind of media whatsoever, you joined us, and that's something that people are always going to remember. They're always going to, attribute you and the Tampa Bay Sun. How is that? How is Erica Timrack, and like how have you guys like grown as friends, as teammates, and not just you two, but everybody else since you first met them?
Yeah, it's so different because I've never been on a team where every single person is brand new. So it's a
Mhm.
unique experience. But I think the coaching staff did a great job of recruiting, not only as players, but people. I think we have a really special group of people and we all really get along on and off the field. And yeah, of course, I played with Erica in Orlando. So it's nice having her on the team. And then some of my teammates from USF I'm reunited with. So it's been pretty special.
How would you analyze your game in the first part of the season? I mean, it's hard to keep track of you sometimes because you're running from one end to the other, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I wonder if I ever played soccer, like where would I be? Because I played hockey growing up, and I was a defenseman, and I was like,
Same.
I don't know if I would be a defenseman. Like I think I would more be like I'd be probably a CDM, but I would be a guy that would probably try to get up on the play more because I didn't want to just stand there while everybody else is doing the action. So, how would you assess your game in the first part?
Yeah, I think I got asked to play a couple different positions, which has been great. I mean, I'm just willing to help the team in any way that I can. Obviously, I'm most comfortable in the midfield, so being back there has been better for me, I think. I think the qualities that I have are better suited for that position. And yeah, I just want to keep growing and I think help in the attack as much as I can in the second half of the season.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things, and one of the things that I've tried to do is, soccer's such a growing sport, right? And you see all the stuff behind me with you guys and the Rowdies, and I was talking to Christina Uncle the other day. It's important to educate people in the Tampa Bay area that don't know so much about soccer. So, like, hey, you may be interested more now than you were in the past, especially with the World Cup coming up and our U.S. men's and women's team really like. The women, of course, have been a powerhouse for so long, but the men, like it's also important for them to kind of raise their status with the new coach, with Pochettino being there. What have you noticed as far as like the education of the game, and kind of just like the growing of getting more and more people involved? Do you feel like not a pressure, but do you feel like a responsibility of like introducing new soccer fans into the game?
I just think that the growth of the game is incredible. I mean, where it
Mhm.
was 10 years ago to where it is now, especially on the women's side.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy to see, and it's amazing for those girls that are young right now. I mean, they have a path forward, and the city of Tampa has really rallied behind us. I mean, we have a great crowd. And so if we're able to inspire younger generations to play and then play professionally, or even just people in Tampa, I think that they're excited to come to our games. It's fun. So, yeah, I hope that we can encourage more people to be soccer fans.
Yeah, you're doing a great job in doing that. Who was your favorite player growing up? Who was inspiring to you?
I'm Canadian, so
Mhm.
Cara Lang for me
Yeah.
was my idol and forever will be. Yeah.
Did you ever meet her?
Yeah, I used to go to all her games and ask for her hair elastic after. Probably pretty gross, but wore it every game. And yeah, I mean, now we're friends. So
That's so cool. What about outside of soccer? Who were your inspirations, whether it's in sports or out of sports? Who drove you to be kind of the best you can be?
yeah, I think my grandfather was like my biggest fan, and he actually came from Italy to Canada and started his own business and just had the mentality of like working really hard. And I think that that was given to me, and that's just something that I always try to focus on is just being the hardest worker on the field and giving my 100% every time I'm out there.
What kind of music are you listening to get ready for the game? Are you one of those like intense, like heavy metal or hardcore hip hop, or are you just like easygoing? Like, which side of the spectrum are you on for music?
I think I like bounce between. I love Drake, so that's
Mhm.
definitely like if I need to be pumped up. But sometimes I just like country or slower things because I'm I have a lot of energy. So I think that sometimes I just need to calm down and listen to some slower things.
If you could invite any three people, dead or alive, to dinner
Oh,
tonight, who would it be?
this is so hard.
Oh, it's not that hard. You're smart.
No.
You're all over it.
um, I love Rihanna, so probably
Okay.
her. And
Riri in the house.
yes. And then my favorite soccer player growing up was Fabio Cannavaro from
Oh,
the
wow.
Italian national team. So
Okay.
probably him. And then third one. I don't know a third one.
We can just leave the cheer open.
Yeah, surprise
I like
me.
it. Just it's only three people. Yeah, whoever wants to show up. I know your husband is a golfer, and listen, when you get two athletes together, I always love to see it. And a bunch of my friends that professional athletes and their wives or their husbands are professional athletes. Like there is something about the discipline. There's something about the consistency that that's what brought you together. What is, without getting too personal, like what are some of the common threads as athletes that attracted you guys together? Because I'm going to do a podcast one day on how people met, because I think
Yeah.
that's such a great story of like how couples met. And when I see two athletes come together, I'm just thinking like they probably are so disciplined, they see eye to eye, even if they're in different sports.
Yeah, I mean, we both respect each other's sports. They're obviously very different, but they both involve a lot of travel. So we don't really see each other that much, but we know that we both want to achieve a certain goal and we're not going to stop until we get there. So we both support each other in that aspect. And I think that we're both very routine oriented. Like
Mm.
I plan out my day to a T, and so does he. So it works. We're both like, okay, we're waking up at 7 o'clock. We're leaving the house at 7:30. You're going to the gym. I'm going to training. Like we have a really good routine. And yeah, I think we just both are each other's biggest fans and it works really well.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because you and I have been talking about getting you on for a couple of weeks because you were so disciplined and making sure that I have workouts. And I love that. I think part of that goes into, and you said your grandfather, is that who you got that from? Like, because that stuff starts at an early age, right? Like you have to be disciplined to the point of like being on time, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to achieve your goals.
Yeah, I think it started too. I was put into a really competitive environment as a child with like the Canadian national team, the youth teams, and they just had really high standards. I mean, you had to be there on time or you weren't playing, or you had to do certain things off the field in order to compete. And so I think that environment kind of created the routine based lifestyle that I have now.
So what do you do outside the routine? What's your favorite thing? If like you have a night off, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to train. What's the all right, this is what I'm going to do.
Well, the nice thing about being in Tampa is I'm reunited with a lot of my college friends.
Right.
So I'm able to try new restaurants or, go to dinner with them. And then I love going to the beach. So whenever I get the chance to do that, I love going to Pasta Grill.
Oh, that's our beach. That's the beach that we go to. We love Paso Grill. It's amazing. The sunsets on Paso Grill, I think, are some of the best in the world. Forget about best in the country. What are
Agree.
some of the restaurants locally? Have you been to Boulan by Emily?
Yeah, I like that one. I like
Amazing.
Pedalina by
Mhm.
there. My favorite all-time restaurant in Tampa, though, is Olivia. I love Olivia. And I'm Italian, so I'm pretty picky, but Olivia is amazing.
I cannot believe you just said that, because
Why?
Olivia is where me and my girlfriend went on our first date. It was a
Ooh.
blind date, and not a blind date, because we met through like a mutual friend, but the first time that we ever went out was to Olivia, and I remember it to this day, sitting there and watching her walk in the door, and it was just like my life changed.
Aw.
And yeah, we go there for our anniversary. It's in March. We go every single year to
Yep.
Olivia. If you've never been to Olivia, go. And if they have the short rib tagliatelle or something, whatever it is, get the short rib, whatever. That's what I get every time, because it is you can't order anything bad there,
No,
right?
you
Like
can't. You
it's
can't.
amazing. And it's so cool because the way that the tables are set up, there's like a couple two-seaters here and then a bigger table, and you just never know who you're going to see inside of Olivia. You may see Jordyn Listro, you may see Jay Recher. My buddy went, he saw Pete Alonso from the Mets. Jordyn
Nice.
Listro, check her out on all social media platforms. She's crushing it. Again, I said this to you when we first met. I'm so glad that you're one of the people that are the face of sports for the Tampa Bay Sun, because girls are going to look up to you. I got two little ones in this house that look up to you and everybody on the team, and they couldn't have asked to put a better person in this spot. So thank you so much for all that you do. You carry yourself with class and dignity and work ethic. We love watching you running around out there on the pitch, and I have high hopes for you guys in the second half. I know you're going to get into a playoff spot and do some damage. So Jordyn, thank you so much for your time, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you. See you at a game.
You got it. You'll see me there. Tampa